What if the reason you aren't mastering artificial intelligence isn't because you aren't studying it enough, but because you just aren't producing enough garbage?
Yeah, that's a wild thought, right?
Right. I mean, you are probably looking at this endless, like, chaotic sea of new AI tools dropping every single week.
Hmm.
And you're trying to figure out how to cut through all that overwhelming noise to actually learn how to build something meaningful.
It is incredibly easy to just get stuck watching from the sidelines. You read the headlines, you see the massive version updates on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, the shiny new features.
Exactly. But there is this invisible wall between knowing these generative tools exist and actually wielding them to create a tangible product.
Which is the entire mission for this deep dive. Today, we're exploring how a highly focused 90-day sprint can completely transform someone from a passive, like AI tourist, into a prolific, monetized creator.
And we have some really fascinating source material for this.
We do. We're drawing on a detailed case study document titled The 90-Day AI Deep Dive, From Consumer to Creator in 90 Days. Plus, we have some striking visual evidence.
Oh, the album art.
Yes, 4 incredibly distinct album cover images that were generated during this exact project.
Okay.
Okay, let's unpack this, because before we can fully appreciate the success this creator had, we really have to establish the trap they were trying to escape.
Right.
And let's be real, almost all of us have fallen into this trap at some point.
Oh, absolutely. The trap is what you could call surface level usage, because most people interact with AI in a really scattered, reactive way.
Yeah, they just jump from one trending tool to the next.
Exactly. Maybe you test a prompt to see what a new language model says, or you generate a quick, funny image for a group chat.
Or you use it to rewrite a work email to sound more professional.
Right, but there is no depth there. There's no sustained friction in that practice. They are consuming the technology instead of actually creating with it.
Yeah.
It's just awareness without capability.
It completely reminds me of having a gym membership. Like you walk into the gym, spend maybe 5 minutes slowly walking on the treadmill, and then you go sit on a weight bench to, I don't know, scroll through your phone for 20 minutes.
And you knew.
And then you leave. And technically speaking, sure, you were at the gym.
Oh, you aren't doing the work.
Right. You aren't doing the focused, difficult work that causes muscle fiber to tear and rebuild. You are literally just physically occupying the space.
This raises an important question. How do you actually break that cycle of passive consumption?
Yeah, what's the fix?
Well, the psychology behind this creator's framework is an aggressive pivot. The hypothesis is basically that you cannot learn AI as a broad theoretical concept.
It's too big.
Way too big. You have to choose exactly one domain. Just one. Set a bold, highly specific goal within that domain, commit to consistent daily output, and this is the big one, prioritize sheer volume over perfection.
The idea is that a single 90-day deep dive under those super strict constraints will produce real, measurable, and even monetizable results.
And the specific lane they chose for this sprint is fascinating.
It really is. Because if you're going to spend 3 months of your life staring at a screen, you need a very compelling why.
Right. You need a reason to keep showing up. So they chose AI music generation.
Which seems so niche at first glance.
It does, but this decision actually sat right at the intersection of their existing skills and their latent curiosities.
I see.
Yeah, the creator had a professional background in writing, a long-standing personal interest in music, and a desire to explore AI creatively rather than just, functionally.
Right, not just using it for data analysis or coding.
Right.
They wanted an emotional output.
Exactly. And the timeline here reveals the sheer ambition of the project.
Yeah, the start date was December 12, 2025, and the end date was March 12, 2026.
Exactly 90 days.
90 days to produce 4 full albums, which translated to roughly 50 completely finished songs.
50 songs in 3 months. To understand how they pulled this off, we have to look at the workflow. Because this wasn't just a process of opening an app and typing, make me a hit song.
Right, it wasn't fully automated.
No, it was a very intentional hybrid approach.
Yeah.
Human creativity combined with AI execution. The creator manually wrote every single lyric for all 50 songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The storytelling, the emotional arc, the rhyming structure that was entirely human-generated.
So the AI was basically utilized strictly as the instrument for the sonic execution and the vocal generation.
Exactly. They fed the human lyrics into the system and then used prompts to shape the instrumentation, the tempo, and the vocal delivery.
Let me push back on this premise right here, because I'm putting myself in the shoes of someone hearing this and thinking, wait, 50 songs and 4 albums in 90 days.
Sounds like a lot.
It sounds like a recipe for churning out algorithmic junk, doesn't it? I mean, doesn't prioritizing output over perfection at that blistering speed just mean you're doing something badly 50 times?
That is completely natural skepticism.
Right, because normally rushing just leaves you with bad art. How can volume possibly force actual improvement if you are just rushing to hit a quota?
Well, the mechanics of AI generation completely flip that traditional logic.
How so?
With traditional art, like painting or playing guitar, rushing produces sloppy technique. But with AI, your technique is your prompt.
Oh, okay.
When you generate a song, the AI gives you a direct, immediate reflection of the quality of your input. So if your manually written lyrics lack a consistent rhythmic meter, the AI will stumble.
Oh, like it'll cram syllables together awkwardly to fit the beat?
Exactly. It sounds terrible. So to fix the audio, the creator was literally forced to become a much better, tighter lyricist. The sheer volume acted as this brutal feedback loop.
Because you encounter way more errors doing 50 songs than you ever would agonizing over a single track.
Precisely. You run into more hallucinations, more formatting issues. You are forced to master the structural tag.
Like learning how to properly bracket a pre-chorus or a drop or an instrumental break.
Yes, you have to learn the language to wrestle the AI into submission.
So the volume is basically the pressure cooker that sharpens the communication skills between the human and the machine.
That is the perfect way to phrase it.
And you can actually see that evolution of communication in the visual evidence provided with the case study.
The album covers.
Yes, the creator generated their own album art as they went. And looking at the visual leap from the first album to the fourth is staggering.
It's a night and day difference.
The first album, which was called Rebuilders, dropped on December 26, 2025. It's a multi-genre foundation piece.
And that cover perfectly mirrors a foundational experimental stage.
Yeah, it's a vibrant neon cyberpunk city at night. It heavily features these construction cranes towering over the buildings.
It literally looks like a site under construction. It bears the tax Walking Key's presence and lyrically driven.
A very literal direct prompt. They asked for a city being built, and the AI provided exactly that. It's technically proficient, but conceptually pretty basic.
Right, but then look at the progression. You have the second album, Legacy on Advance, which came out in late January 2026.
Yeah, that one shows a much more cohesive direction. It's a lone man facing this massive, stark, brutalist concrete structure under a sunrise or sunset.
It's moody. And then the third album, No Stranger Thing Than Love, in mid-February, it shifts to a thematic, emotional focus.
That's the one with the glowing heart above ground, right? And it's perfectly mirrored by a root system heart below ground.
Exactly. You are literally watching the human learn how to prompt for mood, for abstract concepts, and for complex spatial relationships.
Instead of just asking for literal objects like cranes and neon lights.
Yes.
Which brings us to the finale on March 22, 2026, the fourth album, Smoke and Mirrors. The prompting technique here has completely transformed. It's highly metaphorical.
The most polished culmination of the whole project.
The cover shows this giant monochromatic puppeteer's hand reaching down from a smoky sky pulling strings. Behind the bold title text, standing mirrors reflect beautiful, disparate sunset landscapes.
And in the dead center, underneath it all, is a pile of burning books.
It's gorgeous. But getting to that level of conceptual polish, both visually and musically, required a massive amount of friction.
Oh, no doubt. Producing 50 songs reveals very quickly what the AI finds easy and what requires intense human intervention.
The creator documented that pop and dance music were incredibly fluid to make.
Which makes sense. Generative AI thrives on predictability. And the standard 44 times signature of a pop or dance track is highly structured. The AI can easily map lyrics to that steady beat.
But then they pivoted to rap and hip-hop, and the process hit a wall.
A massive wall. Rap requires intense precision. It relies on complex syncopation, unexpected pauses, and these really rapid flow switches.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because the AI doesn't inherently understand swagger or cadence.
Not at all. It's just a machine.
Right. To get a rap track to sound right, the human has to meticulously engineer the input.
They had to learn how to literally manipulate the AI's phonetics. Yeah, using punctuation strategically. Like inserting commas or periods right in the middle of a sentence to force the AI to take a breath or pause for emphasis.
They had to count syllables rigorously, didn't they?
Yes, to ensure the flow matched the BPM they were prompting for. They had to experiment with specific directional tags like aggressive delivery or double time flow.
And the core takeaway, the creator noted, was that the hardest formats created the most growth.
Absolutely. By fighting with the tool to execute a complex hip-hop cadence, they learned the deepest lessons about how the underlying model actually interprets human commands.
Which brings us to the real ROI of this deep dive, the unexpected benefits. Because the ultimate prize here wasn't just walking away with 50 MP3 files.
No, it was the skills.
Right, it was the massive, highly valuable skill stack they acquired as a byproduct of the friction. It really reminds me of the cross-training effect in sports.
That's a good analogy.
Like, imagine you sign up to run a marathon. Your only goal is to cross that finish line after 26.2 miles. But the unexpected byproduct is that your daily dietary discipline improves, your resting heart rate drops, your sleep schedule regulates, and you suddenly have more mental clarity at work.
You aimed for the marathon, but your entire biological system unexpectedly leveled up.
Exactly. For this creator, the 50 songs were the marathon. But the byproduct was an explosion of transferable tech skills.
Because they spent 90 days communicating intensely with an AI to get a specific emotional output, they went from zero experience to having advanced, highly transferable prompting skills.
That underlying language of how to structure commands, how to provide context, how to iterate on outputs that transfers directly to almost any large language model on the market.
Whether you are generating code, analyzing data, or writing marketing copy, the skills just compound rapidly.
They achieved graphic mastery by generating over 50 unique visual assets, like those album covers we talked about. They learned all nuances of different image models along the way.
And they didn't stop there. They took the audio they generated and launched an ambient YouTube music channel that gained early traction.
Which then pushed them to expand into AI video generation to create music videos and build out the lore of their project.
Even their baseline human skills improved. Writing the lyrics for 50 songs, with a heavy focus on structure, rhythm, and clarity, forced them to become a sharper, more concise professional writer in their day-to-day life.
We also have to talk about the business mechanics they learned, because this led to actual monetization.
Yes, the functional pipeline.
They didn't just leave these tracks sitting in a folder on their desktop. They established an official artist channel and navigated getting published on platforms like Spotify and YouTube Music.
And that pipeline requires understanding digital service providers, formatting metadata correctly, managing cover art specifications, understanding royalty splits.
It is a functional business education.
Completely. And the market responded to the final product. The creator actually secured a custom song commission for $200.
And after accounting for all the subscription costs of the AI tools they used, they ended the 90-day sprint with a net profit of $35.
A net profit of $35 might not sound like, earth-shattering money.
No, but in the context of 3 months, it is profound.
Truly. Going from absolute zero experience in music production to a published creator who is literally getting paid for custom commissions.
It proves that these new generative skills can become income-generating remarkably fast if you push past that surface-level trap we talked about earlier.
But of course, achieving that kind of rapid monetized success inevitably brings up a major philosophical tension.
The elephant in the room.
Exactly. We are talking about someone with zero musical background sitting down, using AI as an instrument, and creating 50 polished songs in 3 months.
I have to play devil's advocate here. Because if I'm a musician who has spent 10 years bleeding on my guitar strings, learning complex music theory, playing empty dive bars just to hone my craft.
This case study might sound incredibly insulting to you.
Yes. Doesn't this cheapen the definition of art? Can we really call someone a musician just because they spent 90 days typing well-structured prompts into a text box?
Yeah. It is the defining debate of this technological shift. And the creator addresses this tension explicitly in the case study.
Okay, what do they say?
They maintain a deep, unwavering respect for traditional music, for live performance, and for the sheer dedication required to master a physical instrument.
So they aren't equating the two.
No, they do not claim that their 90-day sprint equates to a decade of physical practice.
So how do they reconcile their project with that respect for real, traditional artistry?
By viewing the technology as an expansion of individual capability rather than a replacement for human soul. The lyrics, the emotion, the desire to communicate a very specific feeling that all originated from the human. The AI was simply the mechanism that allowed them to execute a vision they previously lacked the technical ability to produce.
The case study frames it with a very specific belief, right? This is not about replacing art. It is about participating in what's next.
Participating in what's next,
Yeah.
yes.
It shifts the perspective from viewing AI as a competitor to viewing it as a collaborator. It removes the barrier to entry for the execution part, which means the only thing left being judged is the quality of your ideas.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the true masterclass of this 90-day deep dive isn't really about the mechanics of making AI music at all.
No, it's not.
It is a blueprint for accelerated learning in an era of overwhelming technological change. The universal takeaways here are very clear. Immersion beats dabbling.
You cannot learn to swim by reading about water. You have to jump in.
Exactly. Clear, constrained goals drive results. Difficulty and friction accelerate growth. You have to lean into the tasks that the AI struggles with, like that rap cadence we talked about.
Because that is where you learn the system's underlying logic.
And crucially, enjoyment fuels consistency.
Mhm.
If your plan to learn AI is just a sterile, functional chore for your office job, like forcing yourself to summarize spreadsheets for an hour a day, you are going to quit.
Yeah, but it's boring.
It needs to be an enjoyable, creatively fulfilling outlet.
So what does this all mean for you listening to this right now? The case study concludes with a direct challenge, and it's a call to action we really want to pass on to you.
Pick a domain. It doesn't have to be music.
Right.
Maybe you are fascinated by the possibilities of AI video generation and world building. Maybe it's custom architectural design or building incredibly complex workflow automations or programming interactive storybots.
Just pick the one application of this technology that genuinely excites you.
Commit to it for 90 days. Build consistently, prioritize volume over perfection, and force yourself to create something real that you can actually put out into the world.
It is just incredible to look at the transformation documented here. From a passive consumer, just standing on that metaphorical treadmill and scrolling through the endless noise of updates,
To a multi-album, monetized creator with a deeply refined, transferable technical skill stack.
and all of it was sparked by a simple commitment to stop observing and start building. The source document leaves us with one final, brilliant line. It simply says, "Your album is waiting."
Whatever your version of an album is, your app, your novel, your business venture, your automated workflow. The tools to build it are sitting right in front of you, just waiting for your input.
It leaves you with something huge to think about. If 90 days of focused AI collaboration can turn a writer into a paid musician with a full discography, what dormant secret talent of yours is just one 90-day sprint away from becoming a reality?
Wow, yeah.
If AI is ultimately just the instrument, are we entering an era where our ideas, our taste, and our willingness to iterate are the only true limits on what we can build?
I think we are.
Get off the treadmill, pick your domain, start your 90 days, and go build something amazing. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.